summarizes most frequently asked questions as pre-law students or people who are post undergrad and are trying to get started in this law school journey. So we're just going to start off with the first question. Let's pull up my very first question. And it is, what major is required for law school? This is actually such a good question, because a lot of people who are hoping to get into law school or hoping to start their law school application cycles are pre-law majors or political science majors. But the funny thing about it is there is actually no major required for law school. You could be a sociology major, a psychology major, a business major, even a health science major. Any major you want to major in, a music major, art major, any major is welcome in law school. So that's actually a great question. I personally was a political science major because I had that misconception of, oh, political science major, law school, it just goes hand in hand. And my university did not offer pre-law as a major, so it's kind of just was like, but if I did have to choose all over again, I would probably maybe lean more towards another major. Political science is great if you actually want to get into like politics or the government aspect of law. But if you just want to practice a certain area of law, it'd be good to maybe get into that major. I want to be a criminal defense attorney, so I wish I had chosen like sociology, psychology, criminology, something that particularly goes into like my specific field. But nonetheless, there is no required major. Another question is, what is a T14 law school, and is it important to get into one? So a T14 law school, you may hear, or T20 or T50. The T just basically stands for top. Most people use the USA Today ranking. So it's just basically the rank. It's just what number your school is in the USA Today rankings, or some other websites that people may use, but most commonly the USA Today rankings. I would say it's not as important as people make it seem. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter at all, but I do think it's not as important as people make it seem. If you want to get into big law, like corporate things of that nature, contracts, all of that, then T14, T20, T50, as far as up as you can go, they will be very helpful in helping you get into jobs in that field. But me personally, as somebody who wanted to be a criminal defense attorney, I didn't really try to aim for like T20, T14, because they don't really have, I'm not going to say the best programs in that area, but they don't really employ people in that area a lot. So if you want to go into big law, if you want to make a great salary coming out, then of course T14, T20, T50, all of those will be a good choice for you. But it's all up to a personal decision. Don't let anyone make you feel like you won't be employed at all if you don't get into one of those top schools. Don't go into those top schools just for the rank and they don't have your particular area that you want to study. Just, make your personal decision. Don't just look at what looks good to others. Do you have to be good at public speaking to be a lawyer? I personally don't feel like you have to be the best public speaker, because some lawyers never go to trial. If they do go to trial, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be the one litigating. There's lawyers who do just like contract stuff, lawyers who just do one-on-one counsel. So I don't think you have to be good at public speaking per se, but I do think you need to have confidence, because You never know when you may have to speak publicly. Like, I don't feel like it's as much as people in like shows make it seem like where, oh, you're gonna be talking every day, you're gonna have to go up against a courtroom full of people every day. I don't think it's gonna be that intense. At least like based on my internship experience, like you really do not experience that every day. So I do think you have to be confident and be knowledgeable about the case that you're presenting. But I don't think you necessarily have to just be like somebody who, is just like, that's their job. Like their job is to, I'm trying to think of, what are those people called? What are the people called who speak and do speaking engagements and stuff? Yeah, like those kind of people. Like, no, I don't think it's like that big of a deal. But yes, you do need to learn how to be confident and speak up, basically. What makes a great personal statement? I think the thing that I feel like made my personal statement great based on like the feedback I got from others is that it really showed who I am and why. I think your personal statement should express your why and how that particular school can help you with your why. Like, of course, any law school you go to can help you get a JD. But what about that environment in that particular law school is going to foster the best environment for you in what you want to do? Like, say you want to go to, just for example, Howard, because Howard has a great civil rights program, and they really, really are big on civil rights and things of that nature. So, maybe just look at the school's mission and tell them why you want to go to their school. A lot of people do recycle personal statements for every law school they apply to, but I think there's a way to do that and also like kind of tweak. My thing about it was I tweaked each part of like wherever I mentioned this school, I tweaked it and mentioned the other school in like a way that relates to their school. So I think that's important. I think it's important to realize, like, looking at your resume, of course, they're going to know everything you've done. They're going to know your GPA. They're going to know everything, all of that. But those things do not speak to what you are. So a lot of people will put a lot of people will put their accomplishments and achievements like inside of their personal statement, and it's like, well, we read that in your resume. We get it, So, and just don't be generic. Don't say, oh, I want to go to law school because I want to be an advocate. I want to be this. I want to be that. Just really, really give some of your personal experiences and tell them when it clicked for you that I want to be a lawyer because of this, and things of that nature. So I just think it's best to like express who you are, so to speak. What is the minimum LSAT and GPA requirement for law school? And there's another question that says, is the LSAT required? So I'm just gonna put those together. So a lot of schools are accepting the GRE in place of the LSAT, but most schools accept the LSAT all around. So you can take the GRE, but I feel like the GRE is only accepted at a certain number of schools, and the LSAT is accepted at all schools. So you should, in my personal opinion, unless you just have like one school or two schools that you want to apply to and they accept the GRE, it's probably best to just take the LSAT and get more of a bang for your buck kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? So it just includes all the schools, and you won't have to worry about, oh, I took my GRE, but I want to apply to this school, and they don't accept the GRE, so now I have to go back and take the LSAT. So LSAT just helps you to not limit yourself. So I would recommend taking the LSAT. Standardized tests are required. One of the standardized tests are required for all ABA accredited law schools. So I would recommend the LSAT, but if you want to take the GRE, that's fine too. And as far as LSAT, GPA, requirement, I would not give anybody a number on that. I would say look at your school median. And a lot of people are going to try to gatekeep what they got on their LSAT. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to gatekeep my LSAT or my GPA. I got a 153 on my LSAT. The median for the median for like LSAT overall is a 150. I got a 153, so just above it. Just a little bit above it. And that was good for me. I met all of my school's medians. A lot of people aim for 160 or better. You can aim for 160 or better. You probably should. You get more scholarship opportunities. But I would say don't beat yourself up if you don't get a 160 or better. It's still okay to go ahead and apply anyway and just, you know, throw your hat in the ring and see what lands. I had a 3.2, a 3.2-ish GPA. It was like a 3.25, 26 or something like that. And I actually got a better GPA, but I didn't, when I recalculated for my LSAT GPA and putting it through LSAT, it didn't fix it. So your GPA is gonna like incorporate all of the schools you've ever gotten anything from. So whatever your undergrad GPA is when you graduate, you have to also consider, like, if you took classes from a community college in high school, or if you just took community college classes over the summer, as a cheaper method of getting through undergrad instead of taking the classes at your undergrad institution, they're going to count those grades as well. So don't just look at your undergrad GPA of the institution you actually graduated from. It's all of the grades you've ever gotten from an institution of higher learning. Anything post high school that you've ever gotten, they're going to use all of that for your GPA. So yeah. So like I said, I got a 153. It worked for me. A lot of people say aim for 160 or better. I do recommend you aim for 160 or better. You are inclined to get into more schools. If you want to aim for a T14 or that T50, 160 or better is probably great. I never wanted to do that. So, you know, just it's important to just look at your school's median and GPA, like I said, and see where you land with them. And if you don't necessarily land in their median, in their, 75 percentile or 25 percentile, wherever you land with them, just, try it anyway. You never know. Okay, so guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this information. If you have any more questions, you can feel free to comment down below and I'll answer them personally. I just kind of wanted to go through like some of the most frequently asked questions for people who are first generation law students like myself. These are some of the questions I had, and I had to go ask other people and look up and, seek outside sources. But if you guys have any more questions, like I said, please let me know. I just tackled a few, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.